Yo.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man Bishop Bang, and welcome to another episode of It's Whatever with the Bishop. Magic Moments with the Mosley present. I got my co-host, funny man Jeff. Yep. And we are in the building again today with the extra beautiful special guest.
Aw, four extras.
Yeah, and beautiful.
Hey.
The talented. How was your weekend going so far?
My weekend?
Yeah.
Crazy. So, you know, we're renovating Urban Snob, and so we got, like, everything in the store. I was in the store till 3 o'clock last night. Like, we're finally ready to go. It's taking us maybe a little over a month to get everything done. So, excited to, like, roll out the new collection and show everybody the new store and all this hard work that we've been doing. So that's how my weekend's going so far, because I was there till 3 and then I was back at 7:30 this morning. So I actually left from there to come here. So shout out to y'all.
You feel special.
You
Shout
guys
out
are
to you.
important.
You broke your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weekend's great so far. Worked this morning. Now I'm here.
Where you work at? You got a job?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You grew up.
She been cutting up. She been cutting up since she
Yes.
I'm still
Look,
working for the
It
family
it
company.
is fun.
Android user.
Yes.
She know I was an Android user.
Look, let me tell you something. I rarely text people with Android.
I take that. I like it. I feel rough around the edges. That's what that says.
Does it, like, it keeps your
Makes me
street
feel
cred?
different. Nah. It separates me from Apple America.
It doesn't.
I like
It doesn't.
I like
It
the
separates
Samsung
you.
part.
I mean, you still have a smartphone. It's not like, I met a guy who had a like an old school, like, analog flip phone.
Oh God.
And I said, when the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm going with him. Because he had a house in Canada,
He
too.
gonna survive.
He had a
He's a
house in
survivor.
Canada. He had a car that wasn't like a smart car. He had like a regular, like, old school box
hunting
car.
fish.
Exactly. I said, I promise you.
Makes his own jelly jam.
His name was Cameron. I said, I promise y'all.
She said his name.
I said, I promise y'all, when the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm going to find Cameron, because Cameron is the only one that's going to make it out alive.
He might not want to talk to you when you come to look for him.
I think he
How
will.
did it end? Oh,
I mean,
don't know yet.
we weren't talking.
Oh, okay.
It was just, he was the stage assistant in that play that I did.
Okay.
And I was just like, I'm going with Cameron when the zombie apocalypse comes, because he has a flip phone.
Shout out to
He's
Cameron.
going to live.
Yes, Cameron.
We'll all be gone.
And he's a young guy.
Yeah, he's like 25.
Non-fictional
From
Walking
Canada.
Dead.
Yes. Oh my gosh, she was amazing. It was crazy.
All right, so listen.
What's up?
I had to, like, I've been around you for a few years. When I got
Several
my
years.
when I got
They
my
like.
But wait a second.
Who is she?
Y'all didn't say my name.
because this is coming.
Okay, go ahead.
This is coming. I've been around you for about 5 years now. When
Okay.
I got my start in stand-up comedy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so I knew a little bit about you, and then I had to go get nosy and do my research. So
You did
if I
some
forget,
research.
listen, I'm about to introduce you like the guest preacher.
Cynthia.
So if I forget anything,
Oh my god.
if I forget anything, add to it.
Okay.
See, because I knew you was an Apple user, so I said, bro,
Did you?
gotta do it.
High five.
I had to go snooping. I had to go snooping
Yeah,
around
that's
your social media
In my
like
social media?
like
Okay.
an ex-husband or an
Oh,
ex.
God. Oh,
ex what's she up to? So listen,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't say her name yet, but I got to run all this down. Okay.
Let's see. Go ahead.
Okay. So first things first, what I pulled, we have an author in the building.
Yes.
Yes.
2011 novel titled DEVYNE.
Divine Envy. Divine Envy.
Divine Envy.
Yep.
Okay, bam. I knew it was Devin or Divine. She went with Divine first.
Yep.
2012 novel titled LONDYN, Tale of a Mafia Princess.
Yes.
I did not fucking know this stuff, so
Oh
let me
my
keep
God.
going. So we have an author.
Yes.
We have the poet, Sankofa.
Yes.
That
Poet
should
of the
be
Year.
a hint for
Yes.
our listeners.
Yes.
Yes. We have an event coordinator,
Yes.
curator, we have a host,
Yes.
we have an actress, we have a public speaker,
Wow.
graphic arts designer, creator of the Vision Workbook and Journal every year that I've seen since 2016 to present.
Shout out to you. Yes. 2016
good,
present.
didn't
Yes. Y'all did
She
good.
holds the Gold Chaser Vision Board parties along with each release of these.
Yeah.
And she's a mother.
Yep.
She's a survivor.
Yep.
She is a queen. And she's a great friends and great mentors. Mentor for me.
Thank you.
Motivator for me.
Y'all
And
trying to be
lastly, okay,
Yes.
coming in January of 2020, she will be hosting an all-inclusive 3-day getaway called Vision Manifest in the Dominican Republic. She's the legit female goat of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Give it up.
She put the church finger up. No, I think the church figure may have been like whole.
We'll come back to that then.
Come back.
I knew we were coming back to that. I knew we were coming back to that.
Yeah.
I knew we were
I
coming
gotta come
back to
back.
that.
I gotta tell y'all.
But I need y'all to give it up for MaDonna Awotwi, everybody.
Thank you. I am.
I knew that when I saw that, I'm like, she might have mixed feelings about that.
I'm
Just
blessed
switch it
and
to Puerto Rico.
honored to be here, and we
appreciate
absolutely
you.
canceled the trip to the DR because
Everything going
they're
on.
killing everybody,
Yeah.
and they are putting poison in the alcohol, and who goes to the DR and doesn't drink?
Right.
So rather than go and need a bodyguard, we're
You're gonna maybe switch
revamping.
locations or.
At this point, like the trip, like the planning of the trip was 6 months in. So people had already like paid deposits and paid 6 months worth of money. And at this point, trying to reschedule is kind of dicey.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to figure that out. I don't know. And I was trying to go somewhere that was different because I feel like, oh, everybody goes to Puerto Rico. Everybody goes to Miami. You know, like, let's do something. Get your passport. Let's do something for yourself. Go somewhere you've never been. You know, spend the first month of 2020 somewhere, you know, amazing.
Yeah.
And then they started killing people. And I'm like, who doesn't want me to be great? Like, I just took it personally. I was like...
So the first one, I'm pretty sure you let
Somebody's
slide.
trying to be great.
The first one I let slide, and by the time they got to like number 11, the travel agent, shout out to Brilliantly Refined Travel, Taisha Felton, the travel agent reached out and was like, yeah, so how you feel about this?
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
gonna kill the vibe.
I was like, no, I can't. I said, can you put a poll in the group? And everybody was like, no way. Even to, I'm blessed to even be able to have 25 to 30 women that trusted me enough that they were willing to travel with me outside of the country. So I'm excited to see what I can do. I'm thinking about maybe doing something in the Poconos. There's a black-owned bed and breakfast in the Poconos. So I'm thinking maybe doing that instead of the DR. So stay tuned and send your wives because you guys should pay the money and send your wives.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My wife will be due for a trip by then.
Yep, she'll be about 8 weeks out and you'll be fine. You watch the baby.
So,
I got it.
Yes, sir. I got some titles to add to that introduction.
No, listen.
Look,
Humble brags are welcome.
I was like, wow. And then I read that piece you wrote.
oh, you read my article?
Yeah,
I figured we were gonna have to talk about.
No, we're not gonna get into that. No,
Okay.
we're not getting into that.
Okay.
I didn't want to get into that.
Okay, it's a little heavy.
I want to get into the scale of it, not what's in it. Just the I do want to hear about like what it takes to write something because you already write books. So like and just the mind frame, a little bit about how you think and how you look at business and how you look at our people that are not motivated to do the things that they need to do to be successful.
That's interesting. So in addition to all of the things that you named that I do, I am the communications director for the African American Chamber of Commerce. And so myself along with Candace Henry and Sharia Brown and Robbie Guthrie and, you know, numerous other people who sit on the board and sit inside of operations of the chamber are charged with, you know, going out and getting to people. Like, what is your idea? You know, we always have, that's the one thing with like black and brown people, I feel like, and I know me as well as anybody, I'm come up with 37 ideas. I'm like, I feel like I've forgotten more $1 million ideas than I've instituted. And so I think sometimes because God works through people, we are apprehensive to share with somebody what our idea is for fear that it's going to be taken. You know, so we are, we stall to get the help. You know, we stall to get the parameters put in place to make something successful. And then so the time passes and the resources are expended and now we just have this idea and no way to pull it up off the ground, you know. And so I feel like information is free. I'm the first person that if somebody says, oh, like I have this idea, I'm like, okay, you need to do this, 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 and this, and then call me when it's done.
All right, so right there. Pause.
Yes.
So, because this is me.
Yes.
So,
come on, sir.
Is it fear or laziness, or fear and laziness?
It's both.
Okay. So I just wanted to because.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
It can be fear because a lot of times when you're stuck in things that are the same, it's not fear that you'll fail. It's fear of being successful. Because if it actually works, now everything changes. Now I have to be accountable for my actions. Now I actually have to stand up and be somebody in the community. You know, instead of saying like, oh, I was going to do that. And I was going to do this. You know, and so sometimes I think it's what if. It's the what if that keeps people from jumping out of the window. You know, I know there was a quote by Steve Harvey that said, I promise you if you jump, the parachute will open every time. Meaning that I promise you if you step out on faith, I promise you if you trust God, I promise you if you institute the idea that He has given you, it will not fail. Okay. So it's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of success. Like, because then my life is different now. You know? And it's not so much, I don't think it's ever about money. You know, because money is printed every day. We simply just have to go and get it.
Right. So because I feel like, and we're talking on a certain type of person, if they get to that level, and you're saying this fear of succeeding, do you think that that's all they have? That they wouldn't be able to sustain what it takes? I'm talking about being financial, because you got to be financially literate.
You do have to have the financial literacy. You have to have the people and the parameters in place to make something happen.
Right.
So I feel like it's a couple things, because if you have, so you have a regular 9-to-5 job, you got a nice house, you take 2 vacations a year, you drive a nice car, you got 3 kids, you know, life is good. Okay. And you have this idea, and this idea means you have to walk away from your comfort zone in order to make this idea happen. But a lot of people will let $55,000 a year keep them from $550,000 a year.
That's crazy. Yeah,
you know, it is real.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's so crazy because we get so comfortable, and it's not so much for me like a regular job is, because I have a job, but it's not so much about the amount of money as it is like the health insurance, because health insurance is important.
The things that come with it.
Yeah, the things that come with it. But you know, the job that I do is in service to the community, so that's why it's important for me to be there. But you know, a lot of times people get stuck. You know, and if I'm in this position and I'm working this job and it's what I need, it pays my bills, but this idea, you know, they want to wait. You know, we were taught when we're young, like, you wait until you retire to try to come up with these ideas. Why would you do that? Why would you do this?
That's just keep us in there working.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just that
you know, and I remember I got laid off. It was, my first book was published, and so I got laid off, and it's my poetry book and then my first novel, and I got laid off. And every time, and I saw my grandmother almost every day, but every time I would see my grandmother was like, well, you know, the state has so-and-so has a position open. Can you go and take this test? Can you go and do this? Can you go and do that? Because it stressed her out so much that I was not working a traditional job. Right. And so I was like, I'm like, Pumpkin, because I call my grandma Pumpkin. I'm like, Pumpkin, did I ask you for a dime?
Right.
You know, I was making so much money on Amazon, like just from the sale of my books. And, you know, shout out to my poetry partners and my co-publishers, Denise Hill and Ron J, because we were beasting it, like at the Broad Street Market every week at different booking, like book events and different fairs and things like that. I made one day at the Broad Street Market selling books, I made $1,100. My books were $10 a piece. I have never seen anything. It's trapping.
Yes, that was cool.
And I always tell people, like, and I've never sold anything illegal, but I always tell people that the game and the hustle never changes. The product does. If you have the hustle in you, you can sell anything. You can sell anything. And so I tell people, like, just because you sold drugs at one point does not mean you can't sell cars, that you can't sell whatever there is.
T-shirts, I don't care what it is.
Whatever it is, you can sell it, because it's what's in you that's making the people buy it.
That's why I think I think it's comfortability and laziness. Like
I
truly do. Like I feel us as a people, and just seeing all the stuff that's before you. Like, I admire you.
Thank you.
I do, because I see people that just give their life to one thing instead of just reach, and then and this is another thing. You feel good doing it. You get to use your creativity. You get to use your whole being, and it's a different part of living.
My goal,
it makes living
my
good.
goal is to die empty. Like, I want to, when I stand before God, I don't want to have not used everything.
Right. Yes.
That he gave me,
yes.
like all of it.
Yes.
I don't want to like get up there and he be like, "You so raggedy."
Yes.
You know, he called me raggedy anyway,
right.
but you know, for a different reason.
Yes.
You know, but I just feel like we are so much in the totality of who we are.
Yes.
You know that we can be all of these things, and they say that somebody is supposed to see you doing what you are doing and become inspired to do what they are supposed to do.
Yes.
So that is a really heavy responsibility.
Yes.
You know, and that's one thing why I enjoy so much, like working with kids and working with young girls and things like that. And it's funny because when I meet different people on my journey, like somebody who met me last year doesn't know that 10 years ago I wrote a poetry book, or 8 years ago I had a poetry CD, or 7 years ago I had novels published. Like, they don't know. And then it's funny because they meet me now and it's like almost like these different versions of me. I'm still me, and I'm not the type of person that I'll be like, "Oh yeah, girl, because you know I did this and I did that and I did this." I don't brag on myself a lot.
For yourself.
Yeah, I just try to just be out here.
Right.
You know, and so sometimes people are very like impressed, you know, by me, and it's like or sometimes people will try to be like, they want to name drop, you know, and then I'll end up somewhere and I'm in the same room as them, and they're surprised that I'm in the room, but I didn't have to do anything but be myself to get in this room. So that's one thing that I'm really like appreciative of, is that I can just get where I need to be, and I'm just being me. I don't have to be anybody else, and me being who I am is enough to get me in a space.
And I say I admire, because there's others. There's a lot of people that are, they take life's downfalls. They take the things of life and they don't go in vain, and you use that to birth what it is that you create. And I always say to people, like, there's so much, I'm talking about from trauma, and there's a lot of things where people, oh, my mental, then I went through this when I was a kid. I like, you got to transfer that energy.
You do, and at some point you have to decide that the things that happen to you in your life will not define and make up your life. Because if I wanted to stay a victim, I could stay a victim. If I wanted to stay in a space, because as you guys know, my son passed away in 2014. So I could still be in that space. I could decide, you know, when my son died, that spiritually I was going to die too. You know, and what's so crazy is that, like 2 months before my son passed away, my pastor at the time, Tamika Reed Sims, decided to tell me the story of when her brother passed away when she was young, and how when her brother passed away, her mom kind of checked out on her. And I know that was God kind of giving me that so that I wouldn't check out. And the Sunday after my son passed away, her mom was sitting in church, and she came over and sat next to me and was like, "Don't die." Because I could have. And I always said, like, when the Trayvon Martin thing happened, and Michael Brown and Tamir Rice, all of these things, and I would say to my mom, I'm like, if something happens to one of my kids, please just take care of the other one, because I'm going to be at the Harrisburg Hospital, like, chilling. I'll just, I'll be crazy. Or in prison. I'll be crazy, like, but it's cool, because you real responsible, you real God-fearing, like, make sure they don't do my kids dirty, because I'm out. And I remember the day after my son passed away, I was laying across my mom's bed, and I was like, "Mom," she was like, "What?" I was like, "I don't think I'm going to be crazy." And she was like, "I don't think you are either." And so it is, like, I have good days, and I have, like, really, really terrible days. Y'all got me crying. But, you know, I have good days and I have terrible days. But more than anything, I aspire to be an inspiration, you know, and I aspire to live a life that my son would be proud of, and that my older son can brag on, You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But
that's all.
You have a great support system too, so I'm pretty sure. Like,
oh my God, I have an amazing,
right?
like, I have amazing set of friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do. Like, I would not, like, Demetra and Candace and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the people that God has placed in my life I'm just grateful.
Right.
You know, you need people who can, who recognize when you're not yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People who can, who root for you with whatever dream that you come up with. Like, if I said I wanted to go to Square Dancing University, you know, like somebody who
You
would
blessed,
get,
you're blessed. You blessed.
They'd be like, "Go ahead, girl."
with some good people. And I try to be that for other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be, especially in this day and age,
Mm-hmm.
you can be and do like whatever it is you want to do. There was a 16-year-old who decided that he wanted to start a business reselling sneakers, right?
Yeah.
So his dad helped him figure it out, get a website, and the first year he made like $400,000. He was 16 years old. And to me, I feel like if you can figure that out, and you're 16 and you made $400,000, you will never ever have to work for a person at all. Never.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, if we can get more kids to grasp that concept, we'll be in a much better place. We'll be in an amazing place.
Yeah, because I think we don't encourage our kids to work for themselves. I think we have become. I ain't gonna get into that because that turns into something else. Us as a people, I'd rather spend time on you.
Yeah, no, seriously,
But
like my son,
I
like my
understand,
son
yeah.
right now
It'd
is.
be the parents.
It is the parents.
See, and he had a dad that was willing to back him.
It
and
is
do
the
whatever
parents.
it was that he's seen. Listen, son,
Yeah.
let's try this. Because some parents, if they're ambitious.
It's hard for a child to see the
and
ambition.
it's bad
They have
when
to
your
get it from
it's bad
somewhere
when
else.
your parents don't support you 1st You ain't gonna go out, and I think that's where a lot of us get cut off, or we have to even our age around there, because if our parents didn't motivate, like I always see my dad doing something. I don't care what it was. Like how you said, I sell air conditioners out. That was my dad. That's why I'm laughing. Like I couldn't
You get
dispute
that real.
nothing you say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
You get that real honest.
It's not. Yes, I have it bad.
Real honest.
My brother told
That's
me he in
real
Atlanta
honest.
selling watermelons out the back of his truck. So
But
it's
guess
like,
what?
you know,
you always gonna have.
Right. So
you always gonna have. You could lose your job tomorrow.
Yes.
And you know how to get to the money.
Yes.
Like you have a path.
Yes.
It's like, okay, they laid me off. It gives me more time in my day to do this.
And that's why I said I am at, like, I'm not, no women have their day. I am at it's life or death.
It is.
It's life or death. It is life or death for not just me, my kids, their kids, and their kids. I'm talking about. So I feel that we have that opportunity, and
we do.
That's why I admire, and I've seen, and I just was like, wow. That's why we hit her up, because I was seeing.
I felt honored. I appreciate it.
And it was something that I know that I was like, no, we can't come at her like this. I need to know everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, I even made a way. My wife, I'm gonna need you to. I hit Jeff. I'm gonna need you to. I'm gonna need you.
Broke it down.
He's like, I'm doing assignment for you.
I know. She told me about the books. And then I was like, all right, I want to grab one, but I was like, I won't wait until
Okay.
because he sent me both. I was like, oh, it's two. He was like, oh yeah, it's two.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
actually,
and
it's
this.
like, it's two. So I have one poetry book, one poetry CD, 2 novels, and like 6 ebooks.
Damn.
In addition to the journals that I have.
So how I want to get into your process a little bit, if you mind sharing your process and
like for writing a book.
Yeah, and just getting in the mind frames of being able to.
So I wrote my first book sitting at a desk at FIA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Words have always, I was born with the gift of words. So words always like come to me, and this story just started coming to me, and I started writing. So of course, the process that I have, shout out to Denise Hill, that's who helps me, that's my writing partner, who helps me so much. But I will write out everything, because it'll come to me beginning to end, and then I'll finish I'll fill it in. Like I know everything that I want to happen throughout the course of the book. And so it's like, okay, in chapter 1 I want this, 2, 3. So that way you break it down by chapter, and then I go back and fill in the dialogue. Or in addition to that, also shout out to Janita Jackson, who definitely helped me with character development, because my characters, I feel like, are living, breathing people. And sometimes you could hear Denise and I having a conversation about DEVYNE, or having a conversation about one of her characters in her books, because she has like 6 books. But having a conversation, because we've layered them so much that they feel like real people. You know, giving them very complex backstories and giving them real trauma. And it's funny because certain characters sound like, in my head, like people that I know and people that I'm very familiar with. And so as I was writing, and people who knew me and know people that I'm associated with could pick out the dialect and the verbiage, and they're like, oh, why does this person sound like this? And I thought that was so cool to me. Like,
you became them.
And it was very cool that somebody could read it and say, oh, that one character sounds just like Leisha. And I'm like, yeah, it was, because that's when it was in my head, that was who it sounded like, you know. So it is, writing is an interesting process. Like, it is very, it's late nights and early mornings. I would say that fiction is more fun to write than nonfiction. Nonfiction is easier to write than fiction. Sometimes, like if you're doing something autobiographical, autobiographical. Scratch that from the record. But when you're doing something that's autobiographical, or something that is from a place of pain, sometimes it is more difficult to pull out, you know. But it is often quicker once. But like fiction, you get it out, then you have to go back, then you have to have like your content edit, and then your grammar edit, and then it's like, okay, I need to give this book to someone who doesn't know me. Because, you know, if it's somebody that you know, it's like, oh, girl, this book was good. No, I need somebody who doesn't know me to read this and give me real feedback. Tell me if there's something missing. Tell me if you want something more. And then it's ready to go. So, yeah.
So you sing too?
Sing?
I'm just asking, do everything else.
No, I don't. I mean, I have a good choir voice. I think if I sang, like if I sang, I would sing all the time. Like if I could really sing, I would just always like, I would sing my answers to everything. I would sing when I answer the phone. Oh my gosh, I was just at the Singers Lounge for the Little Big Shots. It was amazing. These kids are 11 and 12 and 13 years old. And when I say they blew like the grown-ups out of the water, they were so amazing. And I was like, if I was 12 years old and I could sing like that, like it would be a wrap. Like I'd just be in class raising my hand and singing, and they'd just be kicking me out of class because I would only want to sing. I wouldn't want to do anything else. But I feel like their futures are so bright, you know, and they have these amazing gifts. And there's enough room. That's the other thing too. People think about like competition, like you can't do this and do this and do this and do that. And especially in a very small city that we live in, there's enough room for everybody. There's enough room. Like if you're operating in your gifting, there's enough room.
I just be like, I think if people don't become so concerned with that and just do what you have to do.
Demetra always says, just you know, if you have your blinders on, just worry about what you are supposed to be doing. Support the people who you want to support, who pour into you and show you love and affection, and the rest is going to take care of itself. You know. I mean, the successful business owners that we have here in Harrisburg are proof positive that you can have 2 soul food restaurants and 3 breakfast spots and 15 hair designers and 6 boutiques and all of these things, and people are still being able to be successful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what we
Consumers like variety.
Yeah, and plus,
Absolutely.
that's what we do. We just I'm a people person.
You are.
I'm a Cancer. They say we're emotional. And,
very.
And like,
Very.
my heart goes out.
Very
for
emotional.
People. It does. I feel that if I can help someone else, chances are, look at our city, like you said with the kids. If people was to come here and they was like, "Yo, there's money here," and I'm talking about
There's money
started,
to be made.
Yes, and then there would be so much money we wouldn't have to worry about that. There's no way. I always say, why can't our city be like New York? Why can't it be like Philly? Why can't the opportunity?
And it can be.
It can be.
It can be.
It
It absolutely can be. And I think with the efforts of the chamber and the efforts of the YPOC and some like the NAACP, some of these organizations, if we pooled our efforts, you know, and really made a point to say, you know, and the one thing I say I love about, so the Urban Connection, which okay, here's another hat. Cultural curator for the Urban Connection. I actually physically design the Urban Connection every single month, and it is such a labor of love, and it's so exciting to do. But we're putting together a resource guide called Make the Connection, and it's really like if somebody comes to Harrisburg who is cultural, who is black or brown, you know, or who is into black and brown things, and they come here and they move here from somewhere else and are like, okay, where do I get my hair done? Where do I go to the barbershop? And if I want chicken, where's the good chicken at? You know, where do I go if I need a personal trainer? You know, where do I go if I want to see stand-up comedy? You know, and these are all questions that we're going to try to answer in this resource guide. But it's really like, it's long. Not only is it long overdue, it's questions that people ask who have been here 30 years. Not just people who, you know, people who are coming to the city, you know, because you find that they get black and brown people, all of this diversity to move here, and they don't stay because they can't connect.
So all right, so let me see if I can get where I want to go here.
Come on.
So is it because I feel, all right, I'm gonna give my why I feel it's the uneducated. When I mean what you need to know, because in order to do certain things, you got to know that your credit's important. You got to know that which is a lesson a lot of us didn't learn as as a child. But we have to focus on it, and some stuff is not important that we because we still be. I feel we as grown folks we touch a lot of money. So and if we spend it on the right stuff.
Invest in the beginning.
And to come when they come before y'all, listen, my credit's here, I got this, and before I get this loan, I want to do this. And if everybody, if you're making money doing what you're doing, I'm able, like from me, personal training, I'm able to buy shirts from Esco, Fanani, you know what I mean? PJ St. Patrick. I'm able to buy shirts from people. I know these people. I'm gonna still buy from you because I have the money to invest in you. Now, like I go to the Singers Lounge, the thing at the HMAT, the Hidden Treasures, Nika's thing. I go to these things, y'all comedy shows, stuff like that when people having stuff because I feel that's resourcing the money back there because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I feel that we can get to that place and people wouldn't have that if they were doing what they were supposed to.
Absolutely. And I think for me, like growing up, I would tell, and I just had this conversation with my mom the other day because I'm like, you know, like my parents taught me how to save money for something. I never learned how to save money for nothing, like for no reason, like for a rainy day. It's always raining, you know. And so if I need to save $4,000 for a trip, I know how. If I want a bag that's $1,100, I know how to save to get that. As soon as I get to $1,099, $1,100, I'm good. I'm cashing out, you know. And so I feel like if we not only teach our kids very young how to save money for a rainy day, you know, put your money up, take half your money, put your money up, pay yourself first.
Yes, always pay
yourself first. Pay yourself first. Then they'll learn, you know, very early and they'll have money,
Right.
you know, because college is so expensive.
Yes.
You know, they come out of college and they're $175,000 in debt. I remember working at Mafia. This guy called in he played for the Eagles at one point. So in the system, it would show you like how much they made per quarter. So it was like $800,000, $1 million and something dollars, and then it was like dropped down to like $37,000 because here he had gotten injured and was now like working at Rent-A-Center or somewhere very basic, and now he had all of these student loans. He had $200,000 and something in student loans and never paid a dime. When he had over millions and millions of dollars, never did it. And then you would get people who would call in, doctors who were $800,000, $900,000 in debt, and they're like, I just bought a new Jag, so I'm not making that payment. I'm not. And you know, it is so crazy because when you have the money,
you don't got to worry about your credit.
You don't have to worry about your credit. When you have the money, you know. And we're in a position that more than ever, we have to teach our children to not only be fiscally responsible, but teach them how to make their money make money.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in high school, we took this stock course. And it was an entrepreneur club. We had an entrepreneur club. We went to the New York Stock Exchange and everything. And so we each had to research a stock. And if your stock made enough money by the end of the semester, you won. I think I won like $150, right? But I had researched and realized, mind you, this is like '97, that every time a pair of Jordans came out, Nike stock split 3 times. And so that was my stock that I picked. And so I ended up winning. But if you teach kids stuff like that, if you teach them that we can take this $20, we can put this $20 in Apple, we can put this $20 because it's a new iPhone coming out, so you should put your money on Apple. Google got this coming out, you should put your money in Google. And then look at like Shark Tank. Like that's the one thing we did. The chamber, we ran a camp 2 years in a row called Junior Entrepreneurs in Training, where we taught the kids business, they instituted their business, and then they ran a market day. But to teach the kids how to run their business, not only how to run their business, but how to make money, you know? Because if you can teach somebody how to make money, they say, oh, if you get the fish for you, like you'll eat for a day. But if I teach you how to fish, you'll always know how to fish. So if I teach you how to get to the money, you will always know how to get to the money.
Right.
You know, so your job can come and go. Circumstances can come and go, and you will always know how to get to the money. So I just think that that's very important. So on top of being fiscally responsible, like teaching kids how to get to the money.
Right.
You know, because money, like I said, money is printed every day. Like we place a lot of value in a dollar.
Right.
But if tomorrow the New York Stock Exchange said that a dollar wasn't worth anything,
what we gonna do?
We'd be stuck.
Right.
Yep.
You know? So it's like knowing that there's always, I mean, Gary Vee was on Breakfast Club, right? And he said that there's a guy who goes to the dollar store, spends $70, $80, $100 at the dollar store, buys a whole bunch of toiletries, puts them on Amazon for 3 or 4 times the markup. So the $1 bottle of Irish Spring from the dollar store he sells on Amazon for $6. He made $225,000 shipping things on Amazon. That's a job.
I follow them type of guys.
That's a job.
Yeah.
It's a job. So
I just got a membership to BJ's.
Oh, how about
Yo, I was in there
I'm a
getting
Sam's Club.
lost.
I don't like BJ's.
It helped my car insurance come down. That's what
Okay,
I did.
that works. So I have Sam's Club. Me and Candy share a Sam's Club. You know, being fiscally responsible.
Yo,
and
I was in there tripping.
I encourage. That's what I encourage people to do.
But there's so many things. There was a guy on, and it's crazy because this guy made $1 million doing this. He would paint a T-shirt or paint an image on Instagram, right? Like on video, and post the video, and then put a link up for pre-order for 1 week, and then he would fulfill the orders and then ship it out the next week. He made $1 million in a year doing that. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's so many, so many ideas of things that people are just doing, and it's just, and it's funny because it's like, we are brilliant people. We are a
Yeah,
brilliant.
I see some crazy stuff. I'll be like,
We
yo,
are-
and there's
So is it wise to hone in on your talent first?
Yes, you
like,
have
like,
to.
like,
It
let's
is.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're good at.
Yes.
But this is the thing. We're good at
A lot of
anything.
things, yeah. Try
Like,
it all.
a perfect example. I bought these socks off of Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
The socks say I left my Gucci's at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I paid $30 for these socks
Mhm.
because I wanted them,
Right.
you know? But if he sold, how much would it cost him like $1 probably to
Yeah.
make these socks?
And it
cost me $30 plus $10 shipping from the UK to get these socks here because I wanted them so bad,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so it's like there's so many things people can do. Like
But
it's
see, the people don't understand, and I say this is that not having that fear and spending on what you want, it comes back around.
it does.
And I always say when people want people to support them, but you not buying nothing.
Reciprocity is real.
How I look at the universe, like
Yeah.
you'll be waiting. I don't care what type of things you come up
This
with.
is my
if
thing.
you're not spending money with someone else,
You can be
you can't expect it.
and it's not even money, it's energy.
Anything,
the
yeah,
energy.
anything, yeah.
So you can be Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, Tibetan, like whatever your religion or your belief system.
whatever gives you,
whatever your belief system is, the universal law of attraction,
Yes.
the universal law of attraction, and the law of reciprocity is, and in Christianity we call it reaping and sowing.
Yes. That's
it.
Yeah.
You pour whatever you're going to pour into, you're going to get it back.
Yes.
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 And it is. I have no problem. Like, I have no problem. And I'll give you a perfect example. So,
And I just want to say, it's just not the collection plate.
no, it's
I just want to say that because people say, I pay my you even if you're not.
it's
even if
not
you don't go
just
to
the
church,
collection plate.
just
It's not
the
just the collection plate.
Right.
So pay your tithes, but pour into the community. And so I'll give you a perfect example. So I was in South Carolina at a church conference, and there's a gospel artist, Tasha Cobbs. So she came out with a sunglass line, and I'm there, and the sunglasses are like bomb, amazing quality, great packaging, and it's a black business. And the sunglasses were, I think on her site, were like $199. She was selling them for $100. And so I look and I'm like, now if these said Michael Kors, or they said Tom Ford, or they said like something else, I'd have been like, oh, why I get these for $100? Like I would say it like it's a sale. And I said, oh no, I'm gonna buy them. And I did because I felt like they were good quality. The craftsmanship was great. I loved the glasses. I needed a new pair of sunglasses, and then I feel like, why not spend that money with her? Because if it said a name that was more widely known, I would have been calling my girlfriends like, I got these for this price.
See, I'm an Android user, so
it's not. It's because you have an Android. It's because you have an Android. It's not. You don't
it don't
even
matter
understand.
who would have been on them things. I'd be like, yeah, nah.
You don't understand.
Yeah, I wear.
Bet you'd buy some new gym equipment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that. Yes. Them dumbbells 250. Let me get them.
Y'all,
I don't
I am
hesitate on
not
that.
enthusiastic
Yes.
about Bishop Bang's workout plan
Yes.
at all. Not enthusiastic.
Yes, if it's something that I give credit, if it's something that I like,
It's something that you like. I mean, people
don't
pay.
hesitate.
People pay for what they like,
Yes.
and that's the thing about like entrepreneurship as a whole. There's always somebody with a great idea. Not only is there somebody with a great idea, there's somebody waiting to spend money on what it is that you want. What it is, the idea that you have. There's someone waiting in line to buy it.
I like to find people that's up and coming and doing something and help them come alive.
That's important.
That's how I feel.
That's
I'm
important.
around people I train, and they be like, I do this, and I'm like, you do?
That's important.
Yo, well, let's go. Like,
That is important, and also too, that is cooperative economics.
yeah.
And in operating in that way, it's like, how can I help you? How can me doing what I do help you do what it is that you do? And that's
And we
like
both win.
exactly.
We both win. The devil tell a friend. The devil tell a friend.
Good news travels fast. And they say, when somebody has a good experience, they tell 3 people, and they have a bad experience, and they tell 27 people.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
So I don't know, but yeah, definitely I think that if we invest more in our children, and we invest more in the businesses in and around this area, like there's a black-owned hair store in York. There's now a black-owned social club that is bomb. It's 3 floors. It's called Studio 29 in York.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like here in Harrisburg, I mean, there's like
York comes out and supports too.
it does. They do.
I've
They
been to
do.
some
And if we
functions
look at
in
it
York
like-
and they come out.
If we look at it in the totality of Central Pennsylvania, you know, so you're looking at like crawdaddies here in Harrisburg and looking at different restaurants, and you're looking at different businesses, District and Urban Snob, and you know, how can I use my dollars to support in this area? So if I want somewhere to go and I want somewhere to eat and I need somewhere to shop, you know, how can I get that done? You know, and so I think it might have been like 3 years ago, Don Banks and I started that Facebook group, African American Businesses in Central Pennsylvania, and it was completely by accident. We started a Facebook post and we were like, oh, let's see how many black businesses we can name. And he and I were kind of spearheading it, and then we just ended up, we were like, oh, let's make a group. So now there's like 5,000 people in the group, and people, you know, every day will say, hey, I need a plumber. You know, I need an electrician. I need a landscaper. I need a graphic designer. I need a personal fitness trainer. You know, I need a host. You know, I need a DJ. You know, and I feel like if we can begin to do that more.
You know? I just got a client from that. Somebody posted something in one of them groups.
Yeah, high five.
He started already and everything. He's like, there was a little group, but they had your name as a trainer, and I called you, and then he's here.
It happens all the time.
I like to do that in reverse too. I did a couple shows at the in High Spire at the Champs.
Yeah.
So I did that room like 3 times. So the host is like, "Hey, I need a comedian. I want some fresh faces." So it felt good for me to, like, I know some cats from Lancaster.
You refer somebody.
Yeah, bam, dude from York.
I'll refer somebody in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, and the cool thing about it is that if you are a person who is of integrity and somebody who somebody trusts, it's like, you know, oh, this is the person that I would use. They're not going anywhere else. They're going to use the person that you suggested. You know, and that's one thing even with like if I have a client or I have like a business that I'm working with, and I'm like, okay, you got me, but if these are the things that you need, these are the people that I use. So I get on, and I in turn am able to bring 5 people with me. You know, and I feel like that's very very effective.
And it's important.
Yeah,
it's important. I feel I think that be the thing, because when it gets to when the money starts talking, certain people just be like, and try to do it themselves, and then they mess it up. And then once you mess that up, they'll be like, well, I really don't want to deal with no one that even looks like it's associated with that
and that's
person.
hard.
Instead of they already knew we was together, but here we wouldn't have did that to you, but here you did. Now they don't want to fool with you because that person. So
and that's hard. And that's hard. You know, and I think a lot of times, you know, black businesses get a bad rap. It's like, oh, that's why I don't use black business. Girl, the white business is going to do you the same way.
If not worse.
So
I'm learning you have to be able to shut people off. There's some people you have to.
You do.
Like,
not only shut people off, but be unapologetic.
Yeah.
Like, just be unapologetic. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I make this dedication to supporting black and brown businesses or supporting small businesses, period. You know, because it's not just black and brown businesses. There are amazing non-color businesses that also are doing good work. But support good work and good people in this area. You know, black and brown businesses, they always say I'm rooting for everybody black. I am. I am, you know, so.
I need everybody money.
I do. I don't want everybody money. Everybody cash. I'm getting to the money.
Yeah, I want everybody money.
Everybody mad.
I listen, man. I am, you know, I accept it. I am a person of color.
He said,
"You want to call me a
color?
A black?
I'm a color. What color is that?
Color.
Is it? What color?
Person of color. I am. Yeah, I am. I'm Morris
Chestnut. What color are you?
I'm Morris Chestnut complexion.
Are you?
Yeah.
You think?
I'm Morris Chestnut.
You're lighter than him. Let's not get into colorism though. That's another episode for another day. This was fun. I like y'all. I like hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
We're going to bring you back. I know you would be a repeat offender.
Am I?
Come back. Wait, but you got new shit going on.
Yeah. I got new stuff.
I love your uniqueness. Thank
you.
When I say I love you, I truly do. I love without even knowing just your ambition, your many hats.
Thank you.
That shows me that you're a learner. I love people that are learning and that are different from what everyone think we should be.
I appreciate that.
Because we're friends with the same amount of people.
Absolutely.
In Harrisburg, I don't know why people think that it's a great thing to uphold a ratchet type demeanor. And then they be like, that's not how I really am. Who has time?
Who has time to be two
My mind
entirely
does
different
not have,
people?
Yes, my mind does not have
I don't
time
know.
for the shenanigans.
Which one am I getting today?
I don't know.
So
I love Jesus and trap music, but
yeah, no, listen, that's the difference. It's the difference because, yeah, me too, I love it. But I know that you learn and I know that you
Absolutely.
take life, you hold it dear, and that you're
absolutely. I mean, people are leaving this place all the time, left and right, and it's people that are our age.
I love no nonsense
like
people like
that are leaving.
Yes.
I say no nonsense, but I'm also like I don't have patience.
Yeah, but
like
that's
I don't have no patience.
But that makes because it's an urgency to do what you need to do.
It is. It's an urgency,
Yes.
and I just tell I would encourage anybody who has an idea, who has a talent, who has a gift. Like if you have a book inside of you, if you have a song, anything, like do not waste time. It is like literally tomorrow is not promised. Like literally, like people are leaving like 38 years old, 37 years old, 35 years old, like passing away.
From natural causes like that. It don't have to be a gunshot.
Yeah, no, it is the young girl went to get her tonsils taken out.
You didn't wake up
on Monday and was gone on Wednesday.
Damn.
Born the same year as my son, and it is like, oh my God, how do you go get your tonsils out and you're not here anymore? And so it's like you cannot. There's no time
That's why
to waste.
Yes, that's what I say. When you wait, you got to stop. Not grab your phone. You have to make the conscious decision.
Now that's the hard part.
I mean, because you're already dug in. There's some people that can't. You're already. I'll give you a pass, because you already. It's already birthed in you. Some people, I feel they sway easily. Some things you have to program yourself before you go about your day.
Yeah, you do, and I feel like I need
take
that
on
too.
Other people, and then it dictates your day.
I feel like that too. I feel like I do spend. Like, and I've taken a couple, like I'm better now about taking social media breaks, but I will be like, first thing, open my eyes in the morning, like before I pray, I just be like, what happened last night?
Oh, Lord.
And that's bad.
The woman in you.
That it is bad though, because why am I so plugged in? I remember when Whitney Houston died, like by the time maybe 45 minutes had passed and people were posting and we're like, they're late. How is 45 minutes late?
Yeah.
We live in such an instantaneous society now that it's like somebody finds out something and in hours, old news, because we're so plugged in.
Yeah.
And there are so many things that happen that we miss because we're so distracted by challenges and so distracted by this is my age 10 years ago, or I'm microwave. I'm no microwaves old. We're so distracted by these social media nuances that we miss the things that are happening in real life. A friend of mine, his brother was killed over a parking spot in Philadelphia. Like last weekend, there were 36 shootings. In a matter of hours, there were 550 people that have been shot or killed since the beginning of the year, and we're worried about National Selfie Day. Even though I did post a picture for National Selfie Day, that's besides the point. But seriously, we are worried about the wrong things, and they always say the revolution will not be televised. It's not, but we're missing it because we're on social media.
That's why coming to me, you gotta hear my mouth. I'm being honest. Listen, they know how I am. I'm gonna go straight off. Like that's important. That's part of, because I need that from you. In order, I feel first I need you to grow in your job and in your life, so that way your money stays on track.
But you can't. That's the other thing too. As people, we try to pull people up that aren't ready to be pulled up. You can't pull up somebody who's not ready. You try to put them in a room before they're ready, and they're not. It's not going to work. You're trying to, and we're taught.
I was there. She know.
Yeah, It's funny.
No,
I told Jeff that might have been
5
Jeff,
years
that was
ago.
2013. It was 6 years ago.
No, 2014.
It
Come,
was
real quick.
13.
Let me give you your flowers while you're still
Jeff.
still living.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 2014. I started comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't a bad start, but it was like one of the things where like I had a shitload of shit to learn. I didn't realize the veterans can be up there drinking and all that. They got this. They know it's like the back of their hand. Dude, you just started. You don't know shit about shit. I didn't know about like nothing. Anything that comes with doing entertainment, because I hung heavy with the poets and whatnot. And MaDonna had like she had some major pull over at PM Bistro, and I was
the communications director.
Yeah, see the people I was tight with. That was the mentor. So MaDonna used to be like, "Yo, stop posting every single move you about to make on social media." That was like lesson number 1. Lesson number 2: if you are what you say you are, you ain't got to broadcast it.
Yeah.
We then fast forward a tad bit after that, when it came time for me to start throwing my shows. She's like, I come to her, I got your flyer, I'm gonna make it dope. She did it, and she was very on time. And then she used to do was, when it come time to put all the things on there, if I forgot anything, she would be like, well, is it do you need ID? Like, what time's it open and close? Like, all that extra stuff. So while she's making money off me, she's like, I would still help you, though.
Yeah,
I'm not going to let you be a fool with this.
Just put you out
Yeah.
there.
And then she's like, by the third flyer, she's like, okay, listen, what is your vision? Like,
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, because stop putting a different title for every show. Because, like, if you have one title, then bam, they'll know what it is when they come see it. Like, thank you, and I can go on and on, but thank you for every time you checked me, every time
In love,
you
though.
motivated me. Yeah, in love.
Yeah.
Thank you for all those times, because they slowly, in a little piece of it, stuck with me. And then I felt like that night at Patty Kim's event, and then recently with Mark Mann doing an event, those were my redemptions with this city. Like when I finally got my act together, coming on stage.
You killed it, though.
Yeah, like taking little bits of advice from you and Mark Mann and other people, like it finally came together. So I want to thank you, because
Absolutely.
no nonsense with her. Yo.
Absolutely. You know, and there's so many people in this city, and I would say to anybody, like, don't be afraid to like ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's somebody that you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that inspires you, somebody that you like the way they move and the things that they do. Don't be afraid to like shoot them an inbox and be like, hey, I'm interested in this. Can you give me any pointers? You know, and 9 times out of 10, they're just gonna like help you. They're not going to be like, oh, you got to pay me $500 for a consultation. They may just be honored that you know, that they reached out. You know, and so I'm more than willing to have a conversation with anybody about anything, you know, because I feel like information is free.
I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be here. I absolutely am, and I love what you guys are doing. Keep inspiring, keep being an example. You know, and shout out to you, because like your fitness stuff like really works. Not to say like, you know, other people's fitness stuff doesn't work, but you know, people like sometimes you'll see a fitness trainer and I'm like, oh, they go to that person, but they're still fat, so I don't know. You know, but
This dude again and again. I worked out with him once already, or like when I do. What was it? 2 days ago?
yeah, no, you do an excellent job. Like the people that I've seen that go to you, and the people who have ranted and raved about you, maybe, you know, some begrudgingly.
But because I know now that they have a mental strongness, because to be able to stand with me and all.
That's why I come.
That's you're strong enough, though.
I am.
Strong.
I mean, I'm mentally strong enough, but
but
that's the other thing.
On point individual.
Hold on. But no, that's the other thing. Just like I said, like when somebody has fear of going into a business because they'll be successful, it's like now that if I get successful in this, I have to be accountable. You know. So if I start going to the fitness class, and then now I'm accountable for what I eat and what I put in my body, I gotta drive by Anna Rose. I can't get the cupcake every time that I want to go.
Hear me and I'll say stuff
and get a cupcake, you know, or he would be on my Facebook asking me what I had for lunch, and I'm gonna tell him the mind is business, and then I gotta tell Shauna, he getting on my nerves.
She gonna say I get on her nerves.
And I'm like, I just want a cupcake, you know. And then it's like I tell my girlfriend Rachel is my accountability partner, so I can't tell her when I want to do, like if I'm going to do something. So if I'm going to fitness class, then she gonna hold me accountable to my calories, and she gonna be texting me, asking me what I ate today, and then he gonna be texting me, and it's gonna stress me out. So I'm gonna just be, here and inside. I'm gonna get myself together though. No, it's
but you
real.
still go on your own, and I respect that.
Yeah, I'm definitely
about coming to me. As long as you're doing something.
No,
that's how I am.
Yeah, because you have to take care of ourselves, because there's far too many people like leaving this place because of things that are completely preventable.
So real quick, tell them where you can reach you. We got 30 seconds.
Yes. You can find me online, Facebook, I am Sankofa, Instagram, I am Sankofa. I have some really, really dope, amazing things that I'm working on. I can't really talk about it yet, but I'm so excited. Like I'm getting ready to launch something really, really major that God put in my heart, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.